So basically, this is our 1 minute. My tablet drive isn't working. Hello guys, and welcome to this video. So basically what I want to do is I've got this artwork here, and I effectively have made a mistake, and I want to try and correct that. I got a comment on my Instagram, and it's just been bugging me ever since, and I really appreciate the person that said it. I'll put your name on the video. Cheers, dude. Because as artists, we are a bit of perfectionists, and when we get things wrong and when someone else knows about it, I think we get a little bit OCD. So what I'm trying to do is I'm gonna try and find a workaround to this problem, and I'm just gonna be going as along. I'll speed up the process so you guys can kind of see the rough idea what I'm doing, and I'll show you before and after, and hopefully it'll help you guys out. But yeah, when we're doing these artwork pieces, one of the main things that's really crucial is perspective, proportion, and all those other elements that make art what is art. So without further ado, we will crack on. Right, so what we need to do is take this floor and change the perspective, because the car is at an angle, and what I've done is I've just plonked a floor on it, and once you see it you can't unsee it, and it's really annoying. So first things first, we're gonna see if there's a quick fix that we can do. And already starting to take shape. Let's start that again. Oh yeah. So effectively what we're trying to do, I'm going to draw this out as well so you guys can see a better idea what I'm doing, and the principles behind why I'm doing it, and then it'll make a lot more sense. But for those of you guys that understand what perspective is and all these like principles, you'll know exactly what I'm trying to do. It's all about eye trickery and fooling the eye, and with this piece I was actually trying to try something a bit new, because I don't normally do backgrounds like this. I just normally keep it quite abstract, but this was a kind of special piece because it was essentially for the James Bond movie that was going to be released but now isn't released. So hopefully it's still going to be released. But yeah, effectively this is going to be it's like a special car that I thought I'd do for the film, and I'm thinking that looks a lot more in line. It's all about what kind of fools the eye the best. And now the problem is, you can see this area here. There's a zoom in. Oh, Leonard, what do we do with that? So I'll show you guys what we'll do with that. We will take this polygon lasso tool and we'll just draw a nice little rectangle. Now there's two things we can do, is whatever software version that you have, Photoshop, the system sort of improves throughout the years. So like I heavily rely on the content aware tool, but in the like 2015 to earlier versions they were very poor, like content aware, so you had to still do a lot of cleanup. But they've improved it a lot over the recent years, so I'm hoping this will do my thing. Just wait for it to load, and it's kind of done a job. It's alright. And you know, as we can see here, that some slight, you know, not technically correct, so just cleaning up this area, and giving that realism. So we're just trying to mimic these as much as possible without ruining the actual image itself. And sometimes it's better just to create new things that just fool the eye. Because this is a background, I'm not going to be worrying too much about the sort of full-on detail, but worst case scenario, you know, just draw in the detail again. So that's what we'll do. That's what we're gonna have to do, unfortunately. So I normally use a tablet, but it's not plugged in, so we're gonna have to make do. So I'm gonna grab my eyedropper tool and we are just gonna draw. There's not like hard or fast rule of doing stuff in Photoshop. You just sort of learn as you go, and there's many ways to skin a cat in Photoshop. So that's one thing that I'd say. Just because I'm doing it this way, it doesn't mean that, you know, another way wouldn't work for another person. This is just my go-to method. Okay, so just that's actually worked quite well. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to blend it in a bit more, and what I like to do is either use the eraser tool just to sort of blend the area in a bit, but I'm going to mask it actually. So masks is something that I picked up quite late. I've been using Photoshop since a long time, so it was like back in high school it was like the graphic design software to use. So I used that, and then throughout my education it just sort of was just like the go-to graphic design software, along with the other Adobe packages. And over the years you pick up different methods. The rendering side I actually learned in my university and sort of learned in my own time. The principles was learned in my degree, and then the rest was just through my passion really. So and it's always learning. I'm always constantly developing and growing. So yeah, what we'll do is we're going to create a mask, and what masks do is it allows you to erase parts, and if you ever get it wrong, then you can sort of delete the mask, or you can paint back in those areas. So it's really useful for like non-destructive editing, which is you know very essential as we do, especially artwork like this. So I've got a bunch of brush presets that I like to use. Just helps workflow. And that's looking a lot better. So we can see that, I mean, I'm being completely like detailed about it, which is probably best. We will add a straight line because it'll give it that more realism effect. So we've got our vertical plane. Now we're just gonna, sorry, our horizontal plane. Now we're gonna achieve our horizontal plane, vertical, sorry, I got mixed up. Painting lines 2. And that will do nicely. Right, so same thing, we're gonna paint it in, make sure that our brush is sorted. And that'll do. So yeah guys, this is just show you the, so you can see here that it's not perfect, but the way the sort of lines are converging is a lot better now. I'll show you the, hold on a minute, let me fix this area. I don't like that, but you just do a quick before and after so you can see. So this is the original, and essentially it's just taking the perspective from an image and plonking it in and hoping it'll work when it's not gonna, because the perspective's wrong. So if it wasn't for that comment on Instagram, I wouldn't be doing this. So I actually really appreciate that people comment on my Instagram and give me feedback. And as a designer or an artist, it's very, very important to take critiques. So I think that's a really useful point. So I think that looks a lot better. And I'm just going to fix this area here. You can see quick before and after. That's it before, that's it after, so we can see the lines are following the perspective a bit better. So let me just fix this area. So this part is just basically explaining the principles behind why I was doing what I was doing. So hopefully this will be something that you guys can learn, and obviously by me teaching you guys, I'm actually learning as well. So I'm just keeping my design skills up to scratch and making sure that in my next pieces I'm keeping the principles at the forefront and not being lazy with them. Because when you're lazy with them, people will notice, and if you're as serious as you say you are, and as a designer, you have to take these critiques as important. So without further ado, just check this out and let me know if it helps you. So basically, this is our 1 minute. My tablet drive isn't working. Right, so let's just imagine that we're sketching the car. So I like to start off with a nice oval. By the way, my nib is like super low, so just bear with me. Or why I was doing what I was doing, so let's just make this a bit bigger. I need more room. This is the brilliant thing with digital, like you need more space, make more space, you know what I mean? It's quite good that way. It looks nothing like a 4x4, so let's make it more 4x4-y. Aston Martin grill and so on and so forth. You get the idea. And like, don't be afraid to be loose. Like, being loose is better. It's looking more like a signet. Okay, so this is our shape, yeah, of our car. So we've got the shadow. Okay, so just imagine now. This is we're gonna call this our sketch. Well, we'll call it the car. This is our car, right? So the perspective that we're gonna be drawing this at, you can see, if this was in a box. So let's make it red. If this was in a box, you would have like this. It'd be in this sort of shape. So you can see, I'm just going to turn this layer down. You can see in this box that the lines, the vanishing point is going off here. This is a 2-point perspective, so you've got the line vanishing point over here, way over here somewhere, and you've got one coming way over there somewhere, and then you've probably got another one coming down as well, but that's more 3-point perspective. We're not doing a building, so I wouldn't really call this 3-point perspective. I'd probably call it 2-point. But if this was in the sort of real world, if you want to call it that, then these vanishing points will be like way over here somewhere, and obviously, we're not sketching to that space. So what we artists do and designers do is we sort of fool the eye, but the way we fool it is in a way that the lines sort of have to flow, that it looks like it's going to that vanishing point. So it's not going to go straight, for example, like this straight line. It's going to be vanishing to that line, to some vanishing point that's located randomly over there. But it's not random, of course. So let me delete that layer. So we've got this box which is representing our car. So let's put our car layer back on. Yeah. Alright, so let's move this guy up. Now, when we're talking about, we're not talking about lighting or tone or anything like that. I might do a video later on that. But we're talking about background and how we will basically make this work as a background. So the reason why I wanted to make the edit for the background I did was because our car, you can see the perspective is going in that formation. But my original perspective was doing this on the floor, like, and the reason why this won't work is because you've got a clash of perspectives here, and this can work. I'm not saying that it can't work, but it makes it very, very confusing because you've got 2-point perspective and then you've got another thing here which is called single point perspective. So these vanishing points are actually, with single point perspective, the clue's in the name, you've only got one vanishing point. So let's draw in red again so you guys can see. So in here, these lines are converging way up here, which these two lines, 1 and 2, they're going some vanishing point up here. And you can have renders where, you know, you've got a 2-point perspective car and it's going up to a nice single point perspective, but if it's not done right, it looks very confusing. So in order to remove all of that, it's better just to go with, especially if background is just an additional sort of element to the painting. Imagine this box is off. We've got the car here. So you've seen it as it works with the single point perspective. Now if we were to do it in the perspective that it should have been at, you'll notice that it has to follow, let me make this bolder so you can see, it has to follow these lines, these imaginary lines that we're constructing now. The background needs to follow that. Therefore, I'll do it in blue so you guys can see the difference. So it'll be very roughly, if it was the cobbled stone effect that the Aston Martin was on, you would have a ground plane somewhere here, and then you would have these lines converging. But obviously the ground plane wouldn't be as defined as I did it there. But then you've got these horizontal parts and then you've got the vertical parts, and they need to flow with the rest of the perspective of the car. And that's where it was going wrong with the first instance where the guy commented on Instagram, because it didn't fool the eye, and the eye was thinking something's not right here, and that's where we messed up. So with these perspective, it's very tricky actually, because the further away the lines are, the tighter the line spacing will be. The closer in it will be, the kind of spaced out it will be, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is like this. So this is closer in, and then that will do that, and then that will do that. But then the further away it is, it'll be doing closer, tighter, 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 tighter. And you can see that it's giving this sort of plane to the art now. Now if I was to bold these this painting up a bit, tie it up a bit, so let's put a nice little ground plane. That is essentially what we're trying to achieve. where the car is drawn in space and then you put a background and it looks like it's sitting on that background. And the trick is all about fooling with perspective, and it's not easy. It's not easy. But I hope this video sort of gave you an insight to why I was doing what I was doing, and yeah, without getting a little bit carried away. But yeah, I hope you found the video interesting, and if you'd like to see more stuff like this, let me know. These are just principles that I learned as a student, and it's gone with me throughout my career and life in design. And all of these matter. The principles of light, tone, shade, form, shape, perspective, all of it comes together, and when it's done right, you think, wow, that's an amazing painting, or that's an awesome piece of art. But when it's done wrong, people will notice. So yeah, I hope this was beneficial to anyone watching. Yes, that's pretty much it, guys. This is my first sort of like walkthrough, if you want to call it, but it's more like editing as we go. I don't really specialize in tutorials on my channel. If you guys want to see tutorials, do let me know. My pieces, like my art pieces on this channel, I normally focus on speed paints. So what I do is I record it as I go, and then I record it using my editing software and show it to you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys have been checking out the video. If you learned anything from this, if you found it useful, make sure you like, you subscribe, and share. It'll be brilliant to do more videos like this in the future. I'll be editing this video very soon. The speed paint will be coming up on my channel very soon. Stay tuned for that, and thank you very much for watching. Peace.